Good evening. This is the time and place for the City of St. Helena Planning Commission regular meeting for Tuesday, April 7th, 2026. At this point, I'd like to have Commissioner Lopez lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Could you please call the roll, Madam Secretary?
Commissioner Lopez?
Here.
Commissioner Covell? Here. Vice Chair Furtick is absent today. Commissioner Anderson is absent. And Chair Warner.
Here. Thank you. This is the public forum time, an opportunity for any member of the public to address the Commission on items of interest that are not listed on the agenda. Because of restrictions imposed by the Brown Act, the Commission may not engage in discussion or take action on matters not described on the agenda. Please observe the time limit of 4 minutes for these items. Yes, do we have a public forum comment?
Hi there. I'm Elaine DeMann. There is a issue going on concerning two members of the Planning Commission. Autumn Anderson and Chris Warner are engaged in a public conversation on Nextdoor about RHNA and the city's housing policy. I've done a little checking, and it seems that by the two of them holding this conversation in a public forum, it precludes any other members of the Planning Commission from weighing in and perhaps providing an alternative view, because that would be a potential Brown Act violation. I realize this is brand new territory for many of us, and we're all navigating it the best we can. But I really think you guys ought to be paying attention to that and not be excluding other opinions from members of this commission on a public forum like that. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments for the public forum? If not, we can go on to our consent item, which is approval of the minutes. And members of the Commission or the public may request a separate consideration of any of those, or we could alternatively have one motion for approval since we only have one set of minutes. What are your druthers?
I motion to approve the minutes.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, call the roll.
Commissioner Covell?
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes.
And Chair Warner.
Yes. Thank you. That brings us to our public hearings, and we do have a fairly short agenda item tonight. We have 2 items on the public hearings. We have a staff to present. I know Acting Director McCann is in a separate meeting, but will join us when he can. But in the meantime, we have full support from our staff. And would you like to begin with a presentation on agenda item 5.1?
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Natalie Brzee. I'm the Assistant Planner with the City. Tonight, I'll be presenting a short-term rental permit, STR 26-004, for a property located at 2525 Madrona Avenue. So the applicant is requesting approval to operate a short-term rental with an existing family residence, single-family residence. The home is approximately 3,000 square feet with 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, and it will provide the required 2 on-site parking spaces. The property is located in the A20 zoning district and has a general plan designation of agriculture. It sits on a 13-acre parcel on the edge of city limits and is surrounded by properties zoned A20, woodlands and watershed, low-density residential. And the property is currently developed with the single-family residence, and it is actively owner-occupied. Here is the site plan. The yellow call-out is the residence itself, and then I wish this pointer would work, but it doesn't work on the TV screen. The tiny blue box, that is where the 2 parking spaces will be. It's towards the eastern central side of the parcel. Can we make this bigger at all? Can you zoom in? No, I don't think so. Yeah, so those are the 2 parking spaces. Oh, perfect. Thank you. Those are the 2 parking spaces, and then the house is to the west. And then this southern property line towards the western end, that is the county line. So the same owner owns that property as well, and that one is undeveloped. This is the floor plan of the residence. As you can see, there are the 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and then other living area available to the guests as well. The Planning Commission must make 6 findings to approve this permit. 1, that the project complies with all short-term rental standards found in the City of St. Helena Municipal Code, Section 17.22.200. It's consistent with the general plan, including all protections on housing supply. It will not impact any historic resources. It's compatible with the surrounding neighborhood. It provides accommodations and generates TOT revenue. And there is no evidence of unpermitted short-term rental activity by the applicant. Staff is able to support all 6 findings, as enclosed in the staff report. In closing, staff recommends approving the short-term rental permit at 2525 Madrona Avenue, including action to approve a categorical exemption pursuant to Section 15061B3 of the state CEQA guidelines based on these findings and subject to conditions of approval attached in the staff report. That concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions. And the applicant is here as well.
Before we open up for public hearings, we have an opportunity for clarification or questions to staff on this short-term rental. I know we have another one as well on the agenda. I wanted just to how about Commissioner Lopez, any questions? I just wanted to clarify with the owner and the applicant here that short-term rentals are also subject to the owner of the short-term rentals obligation to comply with all safety standards, all nuisance, public vegetation removal standards, things like that, and also to ensure that their lessee complies with those. And I think that's clear. I don't think we need any answer from the applicant for this, but it's clear this area, I think, may be very close, if not actually in a fire hazard zone under the new fire regs. And of course, I know lots of you all on that west side are absolutely very diligent about making sure that you're safe from wildfire problems. And I think it's important that you also make sure your lessee under a short-term rental is equally diligent in that regard. Not really a commitment you need to make, it's already the obligation of the owner, but I wanted to clarify that because this particular short-term rental is an area that has some wildfire exposure. Those are the other, and is that correct? Yes. Okay. Any other questions? If not, we can open up for any comments from the public or from the applicant.
I just wanted to make myself available.
And please come to the microphone and list your name.
Hi, Brian Heim, the applicant, 2525 Madrona. I'm available to answer any questions if you have any questions, that's all. Or before or after any other public comment, okay?
Yeah, and I guess my only question is, again, as I said before, are you familiar with the requirements that your short-term lessee assist you in making sure they comply with all wildfire and other public health and safety requirements for the property?
Absolutely. I'm very diligent.
Right.
I perform a lot of work myself on my property. It's a large property, and since the fire in 2020, it's kind of an ongoing thing, but we're constantly removing material and making it safer. And I have a new neighbor. I sold a portion of my property recently, and we're going to bring him up to speed too, I hope. I'm sure someone will give him a nudge sooner or later to make sure that he understands too, and we're doing our best there, yeah.
And just as an aside, with another hat on, with St. Helena Fire Safe Council, I've worked with Chief Sorensen, and we funded a rehabilitation of what's a fuel break and fire road just south of your property there, you know, from the Newton entrance all the way down to Spring Street. And that's helpful because in any wildfire that came down to threaten your property, having the ability of the fire equipment to get up there, or the firefighters to get up there, is so essential and just practical. So that's a good thing, and it's also a good thing if you're familiar with helping with that, too.
I am. I was aware of work going on up there, and I know that just several months ago, PG&E had their dozers up there again. They accessed through Sulphur Springs through Diane's property, and so everyone's always welcome if they want to knock down dead trees on my property.
That's, that's great. Thank you. Any other questions or comments for the applicant?
No, just that, because it's such a large lot, 14 acres, you usually think the renters are going to be right in the hub, but then all the other areas just a concern for short-term rental, especially if they're coming in, in short terms, they're not going to be more knowledgeable about all that land, right?
So the 14 acres that are in the city limits are, it begins to get hilly in the backside of my property where it is contiguous with the acreage that's in the county. It's really the county area that has a substantial amount of forest left. I planted a vineyard in '23, which allowed us to sort of make more perimeter access around the primary usable areas. So it's more and more accessible, and the fire knocked out a tremendous amount of fuel that had built up over probably the last 150 years on that perimeter, particularly against the property to the west. A tremendous amount of fuel was burned off in that last fire. So we all, through the efforts of just cleanup over the last 5 years, have continued to make it better and more open, and I hope that my guests will be able to walk on the avenues that we've created for the vineyard and enjoy that part of the environment. It's what I think will be unique for them and pleasant.
It's a beautiful area, and I really appreciate it, but I also share with you the fact that you're right close to the county line, and we're very much, with my wildfire hat on, very much coordinating with the county, because they have a responsibility, and there's that county line just up Sulphur Springs, and there's lots of, I'm glad PG&E has done what they need to do, because there's lots of easement space that needs to be maintained by them for access. So good. Not in any way applicable to your application, but I really appreciate your.
Thank you. We'll keep at it.
Yep.
Any
Thank
other?
you. Other questions, other public comments?
Thank
Yes.
you.
Please state your name and approach the microphone.
My name is Elaine DeMann, and quite frankly, I'm a little surprised at what just happened. I thought this was public comment. And while I really do appreciate your being here to answer questions, I think this back and forth between you and the applicant during public comment was not appropriate or even supposed to be happening.
It's absolutely.
So having
it's
said that,
absolutely
it is public
appropriate under
comment, and
the
it is
Planning Commission,
it
so-
is
but you're free to
my
make public
opportunity
comments.
to speak.
Sure.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you for being here. I think this sounds like a great opportunity. I am particularly interested in the city looking at short-term rental licenses to be given to properties that can show us a really nice return on TOT. And this particular project sounds like that. I don't know whether there's any projections on what that's going to look like, but we have a limited number of licenses, and given that we have revenue issues, I think that we should be looking at those applications that are going to have the most benefit to the city. And if I understood correctly from what your description was, this is a high-end property. It'll bring in high-end people. There'll be a lot of TOT, and I think that's worth looking at. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Other public comments, if any? If not, I'll close the public hearing and bring it back for the commissioners. Any comments, thoughts, deliberation? If not, I'll entertain a motion, one way or another.
I make a motion that we approve the staff recommendations of the short-term rental permit STR 26004 at 2525 Madrona Avenue, APN 0094500
1513, including action to approve categorical exemption to section 15061B3 of the state CEQA guidelines based on the findings of the staff.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Before we take the roll, I just want to address Mr. Mann's point. It's absolutely permissible for the staff to provide questions to an applicant. That's the purpose of a public hearing. It also is very important for the public to have an opportunity of our procedures for commissioners to be able to address questions to the applicant as part of that part of the hearing. So,
Can I ask the question?
sure.
You know, it's been said that we need to stay on topic of the agendized item and the motion before us. So I would just say that to discuss something that's not quite on the topic of the agenda does preclude other people to be able to talk about those things. And that's my understanding about trying to stay on the agenda topic. So I would just like to say that, you know, I understand you wear multiple hats, but we're at the Planning Commission hearing. We're not at a different meeting.
That's fine. Call the roll.
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Covell,
Yes.
and Chair Warner.
Yes. Okay, that moves us on to the second item, item 5.2, similar to the first one. We have a presentation on 5.2.
Thank you. Okay, this next application before you tonight is for the short-term rental permit STR 26-003 for the property located at 1351 El Bonita Court. The applicant is requesting approval to operate a short-term rental within an existing one-bedroom, one-bathroom attached apartment on the property. The unit is located on the north side of the home, and the project includes 2 on-site tandem parking spaces, which meet the city's requirement. The property is zoned medium-density residential and has a general plan designation of medium-density residential as well. It's located within a residential neighborhood that is also primarily medium-density residential, and the site is currently developed with a single-family home and the attached unit. Only the attached unit is what is being proposed for the short-term rental. Up on the screen, you'll be able to see a layout of the parking and then an aerial view of the site itself, the yellow call-out square on the right-hand side of the screen. That is the area of the short-term rental. It's approximately going to be around 400 square feet for the short-term rental itself. The access to the rental will be on the left side of the property through the side yard. And then the tandem parking spots are in the driveway on the right-hand side. Here's the floor plan of the unit. It has 1 bedroom with a living area and the 1 bathroom and a small kitchenette. This project as well has 6 findings needed in order to approve. The project complies with short-term rental standards called out in St. Helena Municipal Code Section 17.22.200. It's consistent with the general plan, including protections on housing supply. It will not impact any historic resources. It is compatible with the surrounding neighborhood. It provides visitor accommodations and will generate TOT revenue. And there is no evidence of prior unpermitted short-term rental activity by the applicant. And staff was able to support all these findings in the staff report. Staff recommends approving the short-term rental permit at 1351 El Bonita Court, including action to approve a categorical exemption pursuant to section 15061B3 of the state CEQA guidelines based on the findings and subject to conditions of approval. That concludes my presentation, and I'm available for any questions, and I believe the applicant is here as well.
Before opening it up for public comment or the applicant, any clarifying questions from commissioners? I had one clarifying question, just a procedural one, and I know that we do this each time, but do we keep documentation of the notification to adjacent owners of these applications? And does the planning the development department keep those, or does somebody else keep those?
Yeah, so we keep them. Short-term rentals are a little bit different than our normal public hearing notices. It's a full sheet. It has the project description, how many rooms, address, who the applicant is, and then it also has a blurb asking if there are any comments that they be submitted to the city staff, as well as the map that's shown on this slide here.
Do we have, do we send this by just first-class mail? Or-
Yes.
And so do we keep a record of any returned without,
Yeah, any mail that's returned, we keep. Any
okay.
comments that are submitted by mail, we keep those as well, and those are usually attached with the record. We didn't receive any public comments on this. And it's also sent out in a 300-foot radius, same as the other standard noticing
Very good,
procedures.
thank you. I have no other clarifying questions. Anyone else with any clarifying questions? Okay, we'll open up for public comment, and any comments from the public or the applicant? Seeing none, unless we have any, unless commissioners have any questions for the applicant. Go up to the microphone, if you will.
I'm Mark Larson, owner of property. I don't really have any comments unless there's any opposition.
Okay. Welcome. Seeing no other public comments, oh, good, go ahead. If you have public comment, please come and address the commission.
Oh, wait, no, I want to do this jointly, meaning, I,
Could you please state your name for the record?
Celeste Neely.
Right,
I
excellent.
live behind you.
Oh, you do? Hi.
Hi, neighbor, nice to meet you.
Celeste, nice to meet you.
Cameo, that's right,
Yes,
my cat.
okay.
So,
Right.
are you the musicians that I
Yeah.
hear? Okay, so I just was not entirely aware of the property, and I'm not here in opposition. It was just more trying to understand, because I've never really been able to ascertain who lives there. I hear the beautiful music, but then I also hear people doing a lot of tree cutting, so I just wasn't sure, like, is a property just one house and this is just the addition, or are there already multiples?
It's one single-family home,
Uh-huh,
and one of the corner bedrooms was expanded many years ago in the 90s when this is our family home.
yeah, yeah.
My grandparents came to live there when they got elderly, and that has been a long-term rental for a
Okay.
while now. But it's been kind of hard to keep people in there. There's no range, there's no washer and dryer situation, so people stay for, an amount of time, and then they decide to move on. So we feel like this running a B&B kind of thing is advantageous to our needs.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I just was curious.
And
Speak into the microphone so we catch
I
on.
just was curious because,
Okay.
like I said, it's not for me to be in specifically their business to know what the layout is, and I don't know what due diligence is done as far as visiting people's homes and saying, like, what is this or what is that? So obviously, these have been great neighbors with beautiful music provided free for me, so that was just more of a clarification that I didn't know, that the council would or wouldn't have as well. So, thank you.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Thank you
Thank
for
you
letting
for
me
speaking
comment.
up.
Yeah.
Thank you for your comments, and somewhat facetiously, I'll assure the applicant that we do not have authority to impose any conditions on the quality of the music that's performed at your premise.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yes, that's outside our topic. Okay, if any other public comments?
Is the clock going to start this time? Because it hasn't been 4 minutes for some of these conversations. I made an earlier comment about TOT and looking at the higher end properties. But what I personally like about this project is that it sounds like Airbnb back in the day when it really was, people hosting guests in their homes. and making a little more money for themselves, and providing an opportunity, and it actually sounds like a really nice opportunity for people to stay in your home, and then the city is going to get the benefit of some TOT, but also the benefit of knowing that we are kind of going back to our roots, and not just this, high-end tourist luxe destination. So I am totally in support of this one, and I have a pretty good feeling that you guys are going to approve it. So thank you.
Thank you for your comment. If no other public comments, we'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the commission for deliberation, comments, discussion.
I like the fact that, our notices are always going out, the city, because I've even gotten a few when there's construction at 300 feet around, but usually people respond not at all, or they ignore it, and then I like that neighbors came to kind of meet neighbors here and discuss the plan and love your music and all that. I think that's a great thing. I hope more residents are as attentive as you are, and it makes it a lot easier for us more ease as a resident and the commissioner to approve these kind of thing when you see that community coming together to discuss what's going on or what the layout is and what's affected. But I do believe it's a good opportunity because of the space. You've gotten to know it. You try to make it long-term, but there's just not enough there. And to do the plumbing and all that doesn't make sense. So making it a quick stay, and then they could go back home, wash their clothes or whatever, sounds like a great deal. So I'm glad that this all happened.
Other comments, if any? I might make a similar comment. I value Mr. Mann's point about TOT revenue because it becomes a double win, as she's pointed out, for both of these projects, a win-win. And there are different ways to basically accommodate visitors, and I agree with Mr. Mann that this is one of the least impactful and easiest way to attract visitors to our city in a way that's very efficient, is consistent with our community character, is also not intrusive, but also delivers a little bit of change to our community that would otherwise come if you had a hotel development or something else. So thank you for those comments. If no other comments, I'll ask if there's a motion.
No, go ahead. No, you go. You're doing so great.
I make a motion that we approve, according to staff recommendations, the short-term rental of STR 26-003 at 1351 El Bonita Court, AP Ed 009431004, including action to approve a categorical exemption pursuant to section 15061B3 of the state CEQA guidelines based on our staff recommendations.
Second.
Okay, call the roll.
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Covell,
Yes.
and Chair Warner.
Yes. Thank you. Those are those items. I might just make a comment. I really compliment staff for providing very thorough, concise, and direct staff report that was knowledgeable, covered the bases. I also want to compliment the commenters, but also the applicants for having a thorough application, and appreciate your interest. All right, that moves on to scheduled items. We have no other scheduled items. The next is reports by staff or committee. We don't have Mr. McCann here. He's necessarily conflicted with another meeting, but do we have any reports by staff or committee?
I do have a couple. So we previously had noticed in the Star that we were going to be having the zoning matrix update and discussion session. And we decided that because our new director will be coming on here shortly, we're going to kind of let her get her feet wet and bring it to you once she's had a second to digest our entire zoning ordinance. So I just kind of wanted to throw that one out there. It'll probably be in the next couple months, but just so she has time to take a look at it, we'll definitely let you know beforehand, just so you have time. But I would say probably at the earliest sometime in May, so either the first or second meeting.
very good, and I think that what we as commissioners have already agreed we should do, we're going to look for a comprehensive staff report that takes into account comments we've received, but each of us, I know, as commissioners has various items that we'd like to see. We'll bring that to our group discussion when we have our meeting, and I think what's really going to be of interest is to have everybody participate in providing actual recommendations, if any, on changes, modifications, revisions to the zoning code. And that's going to be something that I think will be valuable, because not only will we take additional public comments, but I think we ourselves need to be knowledgeable about the details of the zoning code. And Ms. Covell, you set the standard for us when you first brought this up. I think all of us need to follow your standard and basically do our homework on the zoning code details. Any other comments on scheduled items? I think reports by staff and committee. I think that may also cover item 8, which is agenda forecast and commission requests. Anything further on either 7 or 8?
Do we know when our next meeting is? Like, do we have another one this month?
Yeah, so there will be one on April 21st. I believe we have at least one public hearing item on that one so far for entitlements. The noticing for that happened this last week, so there will be no other public items added besides that one. Looking forward to May. I believe we'll have a major sign permit for you, and possibly the Matrix, as well as 1 or 2 other entitlements. But we're kind of scheduled out until the beginning of June right now, so I would expect a meeting almost twice a month.
Very good. But we're not excused from doing our homework on the details of the zoning code update.
I have one more thing. I reminded myself there's a meeting on April 9th, Thursday at 6 p.m. at the Carnegie Hall, right?
Yes, thank you. That's the notice of preparation scoping meeting for the Castellucci project. You guys are more than welcome to come in residential capacity. As far as the public wanting to speak to you as commissioners, highly recommend against it, just because this will be a project that comes before you at some point. But the intent of this meeting is to allow for public comments and concerns to be brought to the planner's attention, so that we can address those concerns in the draft EIR.
I have a question about that, and it really goes to a discussion we had previously about record keeping, and I'm really happy that we now, at the end of each set of minutes, we're providing a link to the video. I spoke with Andrew Bradley just at the beginning of this meeting, because our current agenda portal doesn't allow direct reference to past agenda videos, because they're too voluminous to put up on that system. You still can get them on YouTube, St. Helena, and that's important. But for this particular meeting, which is actually a very important scoping meeting, and I agree that we need to kind of avoid, unless we really feel personally we want to get involved, avoid being perceived there to be in any way prejudging or directing or advising on the scope. But is the meeting actually recorded?
Yeah, it will be recorded. It's going to be at the Carnegie Building.
No, this meeting will not be recorded.
So,
And also earlier, Michelle, I believe the meeting starts either at 4 or 4:30. If you want to send me it's just Thursday's meeting, correct? 9? Yes. So it's 4 or 4:30. I will send you an email to confirm the time. I'm working with the contract planner on that. So, but it's not at 6 p.m. and it won't be recorded either.
Oh, it's interesting because the email I got from Jim says 6 p.m.
It is 6 p.m. That's what we put in the notice.
all right, we can.
I will go ahead and get back to you on that. As contract planner, we had arranged it at 4:30, but I will send out an email tomorrow once I confirm with her. Unless that's changed and I wasn't notified, but.
So I'm okay on not recording, and it's extra burden, but I do want to emphasize that as we move forward in what is more of a digital world, and with major projects, what I've seen is that major projects, when you have them at the very beginning with people commenting, Obviously, our consultants take comments and write them down, but I've noticed in a number of the larger projects, the commenters, the members of public, don't always agree with how their comments were presented in the meeting. And I don't advocate that every public input meeting have a recording, but when it's a major project, I don't really see, now, you have to go through the hoops of asking everybody at the meeting if they consent to being recorded. And that's sometimes a challenge, because if any one person consents to not being recorded, you cannot record them.
I did just go back and take a look when we set up the meeting. It doesn't explicitly say that it's being recorded, so I may be mistaken on the recording part. But I am looking for the notice, so I should have an answer for you on the time.
And it's very interesting. I have to, with my legal background, I have to kind of contradict myself a little bit. There's always the question of whether there are expectations of privacy at what is otherwise a fully public meeting. So, for example, the public meeting is publicly noticed and available to news media. Well, no one can stop the news media from videotaping or recording it and then making it available publicly. So I just want to throw that. I don't want to change anything. It's too late to change the schedule, but I just want to anticipate on major projects. And I saw this going back through the record of the zoning code update itself. There were multiple public meetings that had various summaries of the public comments. And I think there were members of the public in that process who said, well, that wasn't exactly what I was commenting or requesting, or it wasn't taken into account fully. So I'm fine, but down the road, I think it's going to become very normal for any major project that has a public meeting, even if it's not a decisional meeting, to have some digital record of it. So don't change.
The reason why it's not being recorded is because at the Carnegie Building, we do not have the, all the digital, part of like that we have here. It's pretty bare bones, so that's why if the meetings were held here, that could be a possibility, but we can definitely look at that for future
I
meetings.
understand. I would loan you in my GoPro camera
Can I ask one quick
Sure, go ahead.
question? I know that this was notified in the newspaper, the meeting, and then notified to neighbors. I'm just curious, is it going to, I didn't see it in the newsletter. Did it go out in the newsletter, or can it be posted online on like the Facebook pages or Nextdoor? I just want to make sure, you know, because I think before on other projects, neighbors said we didn't get a notification, or maybe it was just a little postcard, they didn't see it, or we're not paying for a subscription to Press Democrat or the Star or something, so we didn't know. And so I just want to make sure if it is a public announcement that, you know, it goes to all the places that are free and accessible for everybody, that it's not just, I don't pay for Press Democrat. So, and so I just want to make sure everybody has a chance to, and it seems like Nextdoor is a good place. And then, I mean, because Andrew puts like the water forum, the water table meeting, which I thought was really great. Like there was a good amount of people showing up to that. And yeah, and also in the Facebook, because just everybody knows in the Planning Commissioner's Handbook says public outreach in the beginning of the project is really important. And this is, I just want to make sure like everybody is, you know, notified in whatever free and paid means.
That's a great idea. You know, it's too late for the Star because its Star comes out on Thursday, but.
And it's not free.
Yeah, what?
It's not free.
And it's not free, exactly. But you know, we do little buttons or flyers on the top of the website that notify people of certain events, and to the extent that we have a Facebook and Instagram site, and also it's not going to be in time for the weekly newsletter either. But it would be good if we put some, if you could check with Andrew, put something at the top of the website, and if there's a way to post something on Instagram and Facebook for whatever we have on Instagram or Facebook. I agree with Commissioner Covell, because again, people are notified, but people don't notice necessarily. And so you have to repeatedly notify them of something that's happening that's of interest to them. So just check on it. I don't think it takes a lot of effort to put something up on the website and on our social media. Any of us could probably put something on Nextdoor that would say, here's the link to the notice for the meeting. Just a suggestion.
Yes, I will check with Andrew tomorrow, and I will also double check on the time. I may be wrong on that, but we will confirm tomorrow. It might be at 6.
I just checked the notice, it's at 6.
Yeah. Okay, that's a great suggestion. Anything else on our last 2 items? And again, reminding everybody that do our homework. And if not, as Commissioner Pott used to say, come to the favorite part of the meeting, which is item 9, adjournment, and I'm not going to use I'm going to adjourn. Any other comments before we adjourn? No, okay. All right, we're adjourned. Thank you, staff, for a good, efficient meeting.